The Ukulele Reviews Podcast.
That was lovely.
This uke is lovely.
That's beautiful.
This uke is beautiful.
A yoked out uke.
So this is the we featured this podcast or two ago, a couple ago, I guess. But I've been slow to list it, and partially I wanted to get another sound sample. We had Corey playing it before, but
Wasn't good enough.
I just wasn't feeling the strings. No, it was definitely good enough, but I asked Joel to put on a set of his uke Logics for us. So
We have the Joel special on this instrument.
Is it pink?
Days
It is
pink.
Yeah.
which set was that?
It's the soft tension high G set.
Pink.
Pink. Color makes no difference.
All right, so I'm gonna get this one up within the next few days, and it's a beauty, and it's gonna be also providing a lot of ukes to kids in need through Corey Bergman's foundation. What's it called again?
Oh, I forgot the name.
Ukes for Kids?
Is Luthiers for a Cause?
No,
No?
that was part of it, but the actual organization. Hey, Corey, Google that real quick.
What's his last name?
UKC? That's too good. You can't get like those.
Ukulele Kids Club.
Oh, that's what that stands for.
You beat me.
So yeah, welcome back. We got Joel this time.
Hi, everybody.
What you been up to,
I'm here.
man?
Oh, man, you know me. Skydiving.
Yeah.
Cave diving.
Right on. He's
I was gonna say something stupid.
cave diving. Oh.
No, I've been on the...
Thrill junkie over here.
I've been at sea level. Just working, man. Making strings, doing setups. Trying to be of service.
We're technically 900 feet above sea level.
Right now?
I think in Wahiwa.
Well, I was pretty high.
About 1,000.
I like that. I like to be a little bit away from it.
Oh, I'm right at the edge before the incline starts, so I'm still in the tsunami.
Yeah.
I'm in the flood zone, but I can get out quick.
Yeah.
It's the rest of Haleiwa that gets stuck.
Just gotta run fast.
Oh, don't stress Calais out. Hey, welcome back, Calais. We've been so short-staffed for the last week, or even more. But for the
It's
last
not fun
week,
to make fun. It's not good to make fun of Calais.
Oh, stop it.
just
Yeah.
joking.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
And for your info, I am sitting down. I'm not standing up.
Short staff, not short staff.
Where'd you go, Calais?
I just got back from Florida. First vacation in a while. Went to Disney World for the first time in my life. So I'm living my childhood dreams.
Do they have the big
in
turkey
my
leg there?
30s. What's that?
Is that Universal Studios? Never mind.
The what?
No, that is a
Big
Disneyland
turkey
thing.
leg?
Oh yeah,
Oh
that's
my
Disney.
god.
That's
Of all
Everybody
the
brings
reasons
that
to
up.
go to Disney World.
I just want a
Oh, the
giant
turkey
No.
legs.
turkey leg.
everybody.
Hey,
like
did
a
you
game.
ride the Avatar ride?
I did. That was
Oh,
that was
that
the most
best?
amazing ride I've ever been on.
I know, right? It's a glimpse into what
It's
the
like your
next
mind
level
literally
of-
gets sucked into the avatar, and then when, I mean, it's like if I stood in line like
Is
one of
that
those crazy
VR
people
or
for
what?
4 hours.
Augmented reality, maybe.
It was, I don't know, whatever it was just like I did not feel like I was in this realm.
Yeah, and it's like they've got like the wind and the kind of
was
sprinkles of
insane.
rain.
Oh, it's kind of like the Soaring
What?
California ride. They got like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
smells
yeah,
and
that
the
one's
It's
mist.
a
pretty good
million
too. I
times
did that.
crazier. It's like you get on this almost like a bicycle, and then you get the seat comes up, you get strapped in.
It's a motorcycle. Yeah.
It's like
Oh,
yeah,
a
basically
flying
like a motorcycle.
Yeah.
But then it's almost like you're on the actual animal, the banshee,
Right.
in the movie because you can feel it breathe, and then it
what?
vibrates like, and then when the ride starts, I mean, you have like these, 3D glasses on, but then all of a sudden it's like your mind is like beamed into the actual movie, and before you know it, you're up in the air. And I'm not really one to be so affected by 3D effects and all that, but I was just like, whoa, and you could see everything, and it was amazing.
We did it twice, and I wanted to keep going.
all twice. Lucky. I
Does
stood
it-
in 4 hours for
does
me
it-
to do
Oh,
my
but we
one
have
ride.
Move around?
with my son. We have the disability.
Oh, yeah.
It's so bad, but we get in everything's
that's-
like pretty
Just
Oh, that's
skip
not
the
bad.
lines, fast pass every time.
No, but yeah, it's not because with him, if he just couldn't stand in line
Yeah.
for hours.
Yeah,
that just,
you wouldn't want to make him.
he would be
like,
freaking out.
standing in line for hours.
Speaking of freaking out, like, does that avatar thing move around and go up and down?
It does. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
it'll move. So like you're on the banshee. So
Oh, I
like
might
as
do
it
that.
soars down, it gives you. It's
Like there's one part where like the wave comes up and you're like going through the wave, and I was just like, oh my god! Like I kind of like crouched over like that because it was just too real.
It's kind of like, it reminds me of this time I went to the 50th State Fair, and they had this Jurassic Park ride. It freaked me out.
Oh, this would freak you out even more.
That's why I don't think I'll ever go
nah.
there.
It wasn't scary. It was just amazing. It felt
Yeah, it's like-
amazing.
Like, but you could feel the drops and like,
Ooh, I can't do
going
that.
back up. It was just like
I
it
can't
was-
even ride on
It
roller
was
coasters.
different. It was totally different.
I'm a sissy.
I mean, not that we're, don't go to Disney World. Just save your money and buy another ukulele.
There you go.
You can. Everyone underestimates how magical a plane ride is, but that is it's a roller coaster, 30,000 feet in the air. Just catch a plane over, and then you can check out the
go.
store.
I just try to forget about that when I'm on a plane.
No, what you could do is ride a plane and just put a VR simulation on it while you're on.
Yeah, they could make it cooler, huh?
Make the plane invisible.
Flying
so you
into
can
the
Make
see
it
sun.
feel like you're like on top of the plane going through the sky.
flying in a big chair.
But instead of like getting wind,
Fans just like blowing.
instead of getting the
500
wind whacking in your face, you just hear like a screaming baby in the background.
Have like a bird hit you in the face.
We all know it's gonna start with the annoying flight attendant. Please fasten your seatbelt. Like, I thought we can just skip all this stuff.
It's gonna be more like put on your VR goggles and it'll make you feel like you're joining the Mile High Club.
Oh gosh.
Hey, anyways, let's get into it. There's
Smooth transition.
sorry,
Moving
There's-
right along.
Corey. Tell us what you picked up from KoAlana yesterday, I guess.
We have a very special treat from KoAlana. We got the new drum roll.
I'm waiting. Like you're picking up your mug, like they gave you a.
I
Coffee.
would do a drum roll, but I guess something.
Just don't hit it too hard.
Yeah, just
KoAlana ukuleles.
Wait, did you say KoAloha?
Almost. KoAlana.
KoAlana.
What does it mean?
If Corey ever has a girl, he's gonna name her.
KoAlana. That's actually it's not a bad name. My auntie's name is Alana.
My dog's name is Lana.
The path won't even come out on this one. It's just part of
Another name is
wedged in.
Anna.
Comes with the built-in shaker. So you want to add some percussion to your playing? Just
She's playing the whole show.
Oh, there you go. That's natural chorus.
Are you gonna leave it in?
oh
Oh, there you go. There you go. There you go.
yeah.
Gotta
All right,
keep
Corey,
rhythm.
tell us more.
So, what we got on the initial shipment is just 3 of the standard sizes, and
That's
these are
the only
manufa-
models they have, right?
Yep, so far. All laminated acacia. They sound great. Manufactured in Indonesia, and they're at a better price point. Let me just pull up this list real quick. So, the map on the soprano goes at 171. Concert is 216. Tenor at 252. So, compared to the OPOs, they're a little more affordable, and you get pretty much the same thing, almost the same thing as the.
I mean, come on, let's be real about it.
Trying to sell these.
Yeah, but I mean,
You get an affordable KoAlana.
okay. Well, here's the deal with the OPO. They went over there. They set up all the tooling. They made it to where it's the unibrace and the whole deal. These are not that. They're more affordable, but they're just like the regular kind of like this one probably doesn't have any, but when you get up to the tenor, it's gonna probably be the 3 tone bars and or maybe one because it's laminate. But the point is, it's not.
Yeah, it's not the.
It's
not the same
It's
design.
not, and they don't sound like KoAlohas. But we'll let you guys see how you think of the sound.
What I meant to
They
say
definitely
is
have the styling of them.
they sound nice.
Right. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump on you for that. You're like pretty much the same thing. I'm like, whoa.
It was a bold statement.
I'm sorry.
You didn't say it. I don't know.
It wasn't. It's not. You're getting a good instrument.
Look, this is the ukulele review. We gotta keep it real. Not trying to fluff it up. All right, go ahead.
And that is the air compressor.
If Ryan would just turn that compressor off.
Is it?
It's got a slow leak, so I don't
think-
it's a
Oh yeah,
compressor.
it is. Sorry, I don't mean to be so jumpy. It's just like, dude,
No,
I don't know.
that was
People
That
have
was an
to,
insane
people have
thing
to
to
trust.
say.
You can cut it out, right?
no. We're gonna leave it.
No, it's definitely.
I mean, as far as like, I guess maybe looking at the design aspect. I mean, you don't get friction tuners, which is good. You get gear tuners.
You get the
Gear
headstock
tuners.
shape.
It sounds like a laminate, which isn't a bad thing, but there's a difference for sure between that and the OPO.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like for
definitely.
sure.
But I even think if they were solid, there would be a difference. Because
yeah.
unless you're gonna actually go to the factory and teach them how to build a KoAloha, KoAlohas are just so different in construction.
I didn't take a measurement, but does the string spacing makes the neck feel a little wider, right?
Yeah, it kind of does.
It's like they took the KoAloha nut width, but they didn't get the string spacing.
The
right?
same, yeah.
'Cause
So it's
KoAlohas are inset quite a bit at the.
yeah. It's almost like I think if they pulled it, but then you don't count the binding, and then the binding got put on after,
Yeah.
so it widens it. But this feels like they took that into account, so it's spread out a bit more. So the neck feels wider, even though it's still just 1.5 inches. But like I noticed that immediately. But I had to go grab a ruler because it was throwing me off.
Are KoAlohas 1.5 inch nut? But it's like the spacing is closer to like the
A
1
1
3/8. Yeah. Yeah, versus like a Canilea is a little bit more
Yeah.
to the edges of it.
So yeah, I mean, it's almost closer like that. It just the soprano maybe more jumps out because it tapers up so quick. It just feels wider, but
Yeah.
so I mean that
What do you think?
it's not a bad thing.
I think it feels comfortable in my hands. You know?
Right on.
That's one thing I noticed. Like, even though the neck's not that much different, it's the, like you said, it's the string spacing that actually gives it the illusion that the neck is slightly wider.
It just kind of makes you double take for a second when you pick it up.
One thing I noticed on some of the ones that I felt right off the bat was sharp frets. I mean, you know, you shop with us, you don't feel that when you get it, but
Well,
We don't send it out. With
we don't. We usually doesn't feel like that when we send it out. Sometimes it becomes that. But yeah, they did feel a little sharp.
Right. So what happens, Joel? Why do frets feel sharp when they didn't feel sharp before?
The fingerboard shrinks. I mean, sometimes say even like it was something that had like binding, so it's not necessarily like the tang of the fret poking out. That's usually what it is though. Like if you run your fingers along the edges of the neck, like if you run your fingers along here, you can, if you start to feel it poking out, usually you'll see like a little bit of the finish delaminate too, but that usually means that the fretboard's shrinking, and that's like the canary in the coal mine for low humidity. But sometimes just the angle that the frets are beveled at, it can just be a little sharper.
Expand on that. If you feel if you have a solid wood instrument especially, but even if not, if you feel that.
Yeah, because it'll happen with the laminate too. It's the same, it could be the same fingerboard material. So but that usually means that the fretboard's shrinking, so it needs some humidity, because the fret's not going to shrink. But
But yeah, when you do feel that, it's like you said, a canary in the coal mine, because sharp frets aren't really a problem. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's something easily fixed, but what's going to come after that could potentially be a real problem, like cracking wood.
yeah, because you could just file the end of the frets, you don't feel it anymore, but it's still shrinking, so it's still happening. And like if you just
humidify the instrument.
Yeah, but some people will just go and run and they're like, okay, I need to oil the fingerboard. It's like, that's not really the bigger issue. It's the whole thing is lacking humidity, so you kind of need to
get it back up there.
Yeah, that means like do something to address that.
Anyways, let's get a sound sample. Sounds good.
Yeah, good sound.
All right, so that's the soprano.
Soprano.
All right, concerto.
Nice.
Sounds good to me. I kind Not bad.
Less problems.
I think it was just mostly, I don't know, that soprano just feels weird when I hold it.
How so?
I don't know. Like it's something kind of, I can't really put my finger on it.
I don't know why they used geared tuners.
Because they're better than friction tuners.
I mean, the
That's
same thing
not
could
the
be-
argument, or else they're
You could say
Hawaiian stuff would.
Why use friction tuners?
No, just because their line has friction tuners for soprano and
I'm
concert.
fine with it. It makes it easier for me. I'm cool.
Yeah. You're right.
Are you
No,
cool?
but
I mean, it's easier to tune up.
You're right. You know, for beginners, it's probably a better option
it's
than trying to be in line with their.
to be fair, their KoAloha's friction tuners do work a lot better than the run-of-the-mill friction tuner.
Yeah, we've come across some really bad friction
It's-
tuners.
Like the real cheap Grovers are pretty.
Yeah, man. Even like I don't know, even some like Waverleys and stuff, those expensive ones. It's just
Oh, really?
yeah, because like even Noah was explaining to me, like you can get the ones that replace what's on an old Martin or anything, but it's just a chamfered piece of metal just kind of boring into the wood. So
Yeah.
it's like you hit a certain point, you can't tighten the screw anymore, and it's just the wood compression's gone, so there's no subtlety to kind of pad it. It's just
You know,
dense.
the Gotos, the really good friction keys, there's 13 components in between with the lock washers and
Yeah.
the plastic pieces and all that. You know.
13
Yeah.
inside of the whole assembly?
Mm-hmm. But they,
Jeez.
they cost as much or maybe even a touch more than the UPTs. Those ones, the really good friction ones, but they're smooth, and the thing is, you can tighten that screw on the back as
Yeah.
hard as it will go, and you still get a smooth turn on it.
It's not just
Yeah.
locked in. That's because that's the most frustrating part. And then you'll hit a certain point once they get older, and it'll just kind of skip, and you can't really find the subtlety to it. So it's just I feel like it's gonna frustrate people. So
But yeah, I take that back. The gear tuners wasn't a bad option because the buyers for these will more likely than their Hawaiian stuff be beginners, and it's just an easier.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you in the beginning, you want things to be as easy and simple as possible.
Right,
Ease of
right.
use
You know,
is very
Especially
important.
like going with like laminated woods, you don't have to worry about, worrying about humidifying it. Geared tuners makes it
Yeah.
easier to tune. But the
And-
friction tuners are so easy to change strings. So it's just and then you just take the strings off.
Can you do it one more time? Yeah,
Yeah,
I like
there
that.
we go.
One thing we didn't say yet, but they're really pretty. I mean, they have a nice look to them. I think
Very
Nice and
attractive.
shiny.
there is some.
shiny. Ooh.
I think
You
the
know.
gloss finish is a nice contrast to like the OPO line.
I think I still kind of like the Leilani sound a little bit more in that price range, maybe.
Kind of want to see what it sounds like with Aquila strings on it.
Oh, just to
Aquila.
give it a direct comparison.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. That
between-
would be better for Kalas and stuff in that price range to compare with.
I'm surprised they don't come with
Fluorocarbon?
strings like
Yeah.
all the other
It's
models.
too expensive.
Well, because even they were putting the Darios on the OPOs for a while too, right?
Were they?
The J71 or whatever the nylon one ones were.
Is that when they were making them out of sapele?
No, this is like the current edition, but just a while ago.
Is this the second or third edition of the KoAlana?
I thought it was like 4.
Fourth?
I mean, I remember playing the Sapele ones back when I worked for Mike, so that was like
Right.
11 years ago.
Right.
There was only sopranos back then, though. I think.
Yeah.
Wait, so they had it that long ago?
Yeah, that was like.
Well, they originally started at the Thailand factory that makes the OPOs now as doing the KoAlana. Right, Joel?
I think so.
Yeah, I
Even
think
back
so.
then.
Yeah, and they were solid wood too, I think.
Yeah, they were.
I feel like they did a laminate line in between
I think
like a couple
I think they
years
did.
ago.
And then there was the one in like 2013, 2012 that we had, and that was the last time, right?
maybe one of the listeners knows the details.
I'm gonna say number 4.
All right. Good
Or
guess.
number 3 with a hiatus in between.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Oh man, I love Who
I'm
Wants to
gonna
Be a
say
Millionaire.
3.9.
3.9 APR.
2.5 every time.
I'd like to ask the audience.
Let's hear this tenor. Oh man, thought what we were blabbering it with.
I was
These are just fresh out of the box. We just tuned them.
and also 2 of these come with the T2 or titanium set from Didario, and these are very they go out of tune quite fast, depending on
I think it's
temperature.
partially how they were tied onto the tuners too. I
Well,
think they kind of
I used to
slip.
use these a lot, and I noticed that like as soon as I start playing, my instrument would go out of tune. So
Oh,
I
yeah?
need to play them for a while.
Like, they sound great, but the whole tuning part,
Oh yeah, like I would have to tune like after every song.
super sensitive to temperature. So if you're playing outdoors,
You go from
Your
like
string
one
is
room
more
to
than
the
an
next
hour?
room. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh gosh.
Oh wow.
Wonderful. All right, so you should be hitting the website within the next few days. Probably by the time maybe a couple days after I publish this. But very cool. Hey, let's keep it going. And on the last podcast with Mika, Mika was playing a. Is this a tenor? Yeah, tenor size ukulele from Tide.
oh yeah,
And I wanted to get a proper sound sample of that. Corey, if you can get in there.
yeah.
Hey, Joel, did you make a set of your strings for the 17-inch scale like that yet?
Yeah, I do have one for that.
You do me a
The
favor.
smooth wound.
You should send Tyler a set because he's
I was texting with him. He
Oh,
ordered
cool.
some tuners, but I told him he said the next Tide he sends just a regular one. He's gonna put because I had sent him some strings a while back. He's gonna put on that, but I told him I was messing around with some of these because the last one we had kind of did a mix and match set with a Didario classical basses and then my strings for the trebles, but I have a whole set for this guy. We just don't have any like 17-inch ukuleles left for a while, so I haven't been able to put it on anything. This is pretty much just the TT6s, right? Everything else is like 19 inches or above.
yeah, because let's see. What is it, Corey? Are they just not making that OPO L6 or what was
The
it?
D6.
D6?
I don't think they stopped production. They just
Oh,
I think they're
GL6.
focusing more on.
But that's a
Oh, no.
17-inch scale.
Yeah, that's
one
right.
to-
Yeah,
Not
we haven't had one for
Right,
months
right.
and months.
Yeah, and it's going to be a while. I mean, it's probably going to be at least a few months before we have the next Romero Creations order come in and stuff. But
No, I'm happy with that set though. It's pretty smooth feeling. It's like on the warmer side. But this thing feels comfy.
This is nice.
Sounds good.
Let's get a spin on that too. So thinner body and
Someone's hungry.
those really rounded edges make it even extra comfortable.
So
I know it's like that's
the whole like all of this is just one
Yeah.
piece.
it's like the difference between
Awesome.
like picking up an old PC and then you pick up a Mac. It's just like all the edges are around. It's just like
Sleek.
physically comfortable to hold.
So this is a great kind of transition for just a regular ukulele player because the high four strings are G, C, E, A, and it's at your tenor scale. But you've got the A and the D on the bottom there to start to learn guitar shapes.
And for you guitar players, just play it normal in a
Yeah.
higher key.
I mean, you're just playing guitar keyboard at the 5th fret, so
Yeah, man.
Word.
everything transposes well.
So they built a baritone scale, a 20-inch scale one that we had, not a month ago or something.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put up a picture right now that Tyler sent me just yesterday of one on his workbench that he's finishing up of the baritone scale of that he's sending our way to. What do you think, Corey? Baritone scale or tenor scale?
Oh no, I think I like this better. See, I still have enough room to play all these chords. Still super comfortable up here even.
They really captured something with that. I don't know, like they sound really good,
Yeah.
even being slim like that.
Well, the sides are so solid too.
Yeah,
I think it just frames it right, so then the rest can be resonant. But it feels light. Like it's just
I just like the fact that like pretty much all the tied instruments we get all feel nice and smooth and comfortable. I think that's a very important part of like playing any instrument. It needs to have that ergonomic feel to it. And they've been super consistent with everything we've been getting from them, down to that tiny little mini.
Oh, yeah.
What was that? Drop, baby, drop. Honey, baby.
That's the funky version. Yeah.
Can you
Beautiful.
teach people in 1 minute how to play Drop Baby Drop funkier?
I forget how I played it.
How do you take that and get funky?
I mean, essentially, you're basically changing up the rhythm, right?
So, the basis of funk is, I mean, it
sorry. A million things ran through my head of what you could have said right after
The
it.
basis of Corey.
The basis of funk.
the fountain of funk.
Yeah, perfect.
So, it's really simple.
Spews down the mountain from
Like, it follows a simple beat. Like, if you're listening to the drums, it's just like a simple 1, 2, right? And then the bass and the guitar players where they fill in all the extra gaps. And I like to play this simple like funk kind of groove.
It's almost like you're playing it as if you're playing drums.
So it's like there's parts where I'm using that tick as where the drums would have that snare hit. So, and then this combines a lot of instruments in one. Like you have to imagine that there are these 3 instruments going on at one time. This bass note is like the first bass note that the bass player is playing in the bass line, but it's also the kick drum in the drum set.
One.
lot of it is what makes it funky is filling in those ghost notes. And I don't know how to explain it.
You really gotta have drums in your head, basically, right? Because it's like those snare fills where you'd be like hitting the rim or snapping it, or like a little. Because then you get towards the end of it and you kind of put in a little bit of a fill, right? Like you would with a drum, drums before
exactly.
you start the next.
So I'm not a very good drummer.
Oh, I heard you drum.
But those like hammer-ons and pull-offs and stuff, they do kind of emulate bass line styles, you know that.
And then there is that driving the whole I guess riff along. So like, I'm not actually plucking anything. I'm just using that as like a filler, because that adds to the overall groove of like the imaginary bass line that's not there.
Because you can use it almost as like a hi-hat if you kind of kept your thumb going, or you can use it as a snare with you just chuck the whole thing.
Yep. And a lot of it is alternating the way you do the chord progression, because it's just in this case it's A, D, and then you're hammering onto like an E minor. So like the first two bars, I guess, would be. So like on the second time around, it's like I threw in a gap in between the second chord. Sort of. It's where you hammer on and where you, I don't know. It's just
It's feel.
it is feel, and I just spit, but
Make a wish.
I mean, you could just play this straight up.
Citizen Cult.
That's still funky, right?
Yeah.
But then it sounds cooler when you alternate where you hit or when you change chords in the progression. So it goes. You can.
The easy way to tell is your neck starts moving more when you get funkier. That's how you
the
get
more
close.
your
The more this
neck
is
does
happening
this,
without you realizing it,
the
that's
more
when
your
you know
joints
you're
get
close.
greasy and
That hound dog
lubed.
get close.
That's a good indicator of how funky you're getting. So on the funk meter,
You
from
go
1 to
see
10.
the Pharaoh of Funk, and it's
Like,
like,
so-
you got some neck problems. That means you're on the right track.
from level 1 to funk, if you're at a level 1, you're about.
We call that the mayonnaise. That's a 0.
But that
Oh, that's a 1. That's a 2.
the stronger you can make that foundation right there, the
The number
funkier
just
it
keeps
gets.
going up.
So you this sounds kind of boring. That's like a 1, but when you start you're not even actually changing the tempo. It sounds like you are. It's like this illusion that you're creating by adding when you hit that snare hit. If you make that louder, it sounds like the beat is getting funkier. So that's like funk level 3. If you want to get really funky,
So what does the 10 sound like?
Oh. Don't break it, Corey.
I never got to 10
Don't funk it up, man.
because I'm not a funk master yet.
Windows getting foggy. All right, you guys got it? That's how you get to the fountain of funk.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is.
I'm
the
not quite there
official
yet. I only
funk
got to
lesson
level
from
4,
Corey Fujimoto.
so I'm still an apprentice
Oh,
in the funk factory.
I'm just a fan. I'm just a fan of funk.
Funk fan?
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be in that stream of air.
All right, let's.
All right.
Oh, next Blackbird is doing a new satin finish. I did a interview with Joe where he was talking about that, it's an option. It's an additional slight upcharge, but yeah, let's bust it out and talk about it. All right, so Joel.
I learned all my funk from Wolfpack.
Hey Joel, bust out the regular one too while we're at it, and Corey, spin that around real quick before you tune it up, just to show the differences.
Did they change the bracing or something too? Because this is way more like punchy. So
Part of what Joe was talking about was the uniformity of look. So Joel, So spin that around, Corey. This is a regular Farallon.
Oh yeah.
So it's got kind of it's almost like a gloss.
it's like a semi-gloss.
Semi-gloss?
It still has a little bit of satin.
Yeah, I guess semi-gloss. The top is pretty much the same
Yeah,
look,
it's basically the same.
but it's got a pretty sleek uniformity, huh? With the new satin finish.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Reminds me of like
a warm blanket.
frosted.
I don't know why they strung that with a high G. Have they ever sent a Farallon with a high G before?
I don't think they've sent anything with a high G.
Yeah. Maybe they just wanted us to do a sound sample with a high G to give a variation, because most people hear Farallons with the low G. But yeah,
That's another funk tip. You can only get funky with low G.
I don't know.
Really?
I've heard Calais get pretty. Do you wait? I don't think. Joel, give him the all satin one though.
What?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That's the one we need to get a sound sample of.
She won't give it back.
I'm sorry. So the reason
Addicted to funk.
for the low G is because when you do that thump, you have to have that thump that drive the.
You
That
don't
drives the
gotta
rhythm.
have that. You just.
Well,
be
that makes it
funky.
easier, the low G. Because if you have a high G, then it would be mostly on your C string.
It's still funky.
Well, it also depends on like how loud you do it too. I guess I've just been so used to doing it on the C string. But it's still pretty funky. Was because
That
like
was-
Corey's playing it.
Sort of funky. I think I smell more funky than anything.
So I was asking Joe, like, why, but partly that sleek uniformity of look, which it does look really cool. Even the faceplate there, the faceplate's usually the semi-gloss, so you have that real nice uniform look, but also the whole thing is sealed off from the elements even more so. And a lot of people buy Blackbirds so they don't have to worry about the environment. It's just that extra level of protection. I don't know, can you think of any other reasons to go with the upgrade of a satin?
The sound's different.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I mean, you play back to back. Every note is just fuller.
And it's just the same thing. It's just got a finish on it.
I can't.
I don't know. Do it. A/B test.
When you can't show me a variable that would change it, I'm not inclined to say that's what it is.
And in fact, I don't even think the top is even different. It's just
Yeah.
matched with the sides and back. And anyways,
Corey, if you put something in a different package, like if you put a sandwich in a different package, it might taste different, but it might be the same sandwich.
the one in the blue bag tastes so much better. It's like cut from the same sandwich.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, because that corner had more mayo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
got that funk.
You addicted. No, it's cool too, even just aesthetic, because I've had people mention, like, I think they weren't maybe expecting the difference between the gloss and the satin, then they got it, and maybe they didn't see it in the photos or something, but So yeah, if you kind of wanted to just be consistent all the way around, I think it looks
I do like the look.
nice.
I like the look too.
It looks really nice.
I just like the feel of it too.
You
Yeah,
think they're gonna make like a sunburst version of the satin?
they did. They will. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I would like that.
yeah. That it's got that
That's
really
it.
kind of old school, like
Ooh, yeah.
old Gibson.
Gibson,
look to it.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Gibson.
Adjust this makeup.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, it does sound good. I'm wondering, do you get many orders with high G for Farallons?
No,
But yeah, I'm wondering like why not? Maybe just because we haven't sampled them with high G. But
maybe. I mean, I think sometimes I don't know. Maybe people just don't think to ask
try
because
it?
sometimes there's just
Yeah,
not that many
just-
that we
it's
sell
limited.
compared to other models. So it
Maybe it's
may
just
not
this-
come up
this
as
one
much, but
particular.
I mean,
maybe
It's kinda
one out
hard
of
to compare them,
15
too, 'cause,
or
that one
something
has
like
a
that,
lot of
maybe.
emoji on it.
Maybe if you just play the treble strings.
Mm.
just the high 3. Wait, you're playing all 4?
it sounds
The
different.
other one has more clarity.
Yeah, I do hear a difference.
This one is more like warmer. Oh yeah,
Oh, weird. Yeah, you're right.
that sounds like more like real, like it was constructed out of like real wood, like actual wood.
It even feels different. I can just feel it
Tighter.
breathing.
There you go. Get
Breathing.
the upgrade.
I don't know.
What's the price difference between like?
I want to say 115 bucks.
So for 115 bucks, you sound like that.
I mean, I even think the sustain is better. Am I just hearing things? Because I usually do.
No, it's nice.
Pretty good.
Yeah. It's hanging out, hanging there.
Maybe the gloss or the finish does affect it more than like your average wooden, like constructed ukulele. Maybe because of the material. Do you think so? Because that's like
or 'cause
linen.
it's thin too.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. It seems like something Joe would pick up on though. Like, did he didn't say anything about it being different?
Well, he seems
This
like
is
the kind of
meant to
guy that
be
would
played
probably
slow.
want us to hear
Bonding
it
of
ourselves.
the lacquer causes a molecular. No, I don't know. I don't know.
Oh,
I
getting all
was-
scientific here.
I was
No.
getting into that
Oh, no.
explanation.
Let me grab my glasses.
I ran out of big words. Let's
I don't know any
get
big
a
words.
sound sample. Sounds really
I like
good.
this a lot.
Sounds
Yeah.
really, really good. Sounds like a custom built instrument.
Wow. Damn.
Awesome. Okay, so let's close this one out with Calais sampling a custom we got from KoAlana, brought over the other day from Kanilea. Tell us about this instrument, Calais.
Whoa. This is the first time I've seen it.
I think it's
So-
beautiful.
You got this master grade koa on here. A little bit of sapwood going down the middle. Is this rosewood? Rosette?
I believe so.
It's rosewood, bridge, rosette, fingerboard, faceplate, and then notice the
Oh, check
Yeah,
these
the
out.
pins.
super nice.
I think they got koa
Yeah.
ends on the pins.
And then look at the saddle a little bit closer.
It has a radius,
It has a radius.
Yeah.
a radical radius.
Oh yeah.
So
I
like a
guess.
16.
There's like a slight radius in
Yeah.
the fretboard. In the saddle. Did they not compensate it because of the radius fretboard, or
He didn't
are they
say.
gonna switch to these? Oh, the-
Probably
Oh,
just
cool.
because they know that we do that on all of them anyway.
Yeah. Or they probably just don't have a mold for the radius.
For the
saddle.
radius.
and this is maple.
That's how it used to be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, on some of the compensated ones, right, Joel, they end up being more like straight across by the time you guys get done compensating, or maybe the C's is a little further back.
Yeah, the C's usually back, but then like the G, E, and A are angled towards the front. But I mean, it's weird. Sometimes I've even tried it with the C halfway, and it didn't really. I don't know, man. Sometimes it's crazy. Like you move things around, and some things won't really change. And
Anyways,
It's-
when you
yeah.
guys buy from us, we make sure it's right
We'll
before
take
it
care of
goes
it.
Oh
out.
yes, every single one that gets shipped out.
I like how the side port is bound to like
Mhm.
super
Yeah, that's pretty
nice
cool.
details.
Side port, maple, right? Maple bound.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I wish the back had binding too.
Oh,
But
that would've
still
been-
really nice.
But actually, no, I kind of
Nah,
like it
I like it without.
without it because like it brings more attention to the koa.
That thing is gorgeous.
Oh, you're right, yeah. I
So
agree.
so beautiful.
It's pretty nice. So, and
So
then,
tight
yeah,
curl. That fiddleback.
Well,
got like the Martin style shaped headstock.
I like rosewood. I'm glad it's back in the game. It's such a pretty
It-
wood.
Blends well with
it had to
the
go away
coloring
for
of
it
the
to make
koa,
us want
yeah.
it more,
Yeah.
to appreciate it.
It's a little softer than ebony to the eye, you know. It blends in with the
Yeah.
tones of koa really nice too.
It's like a dark maroon
Yeah.
Mhm.
color. I like it a lot.
Beautiful.
Yeah, this is nice.
Well done.
So, you know what else is cool is KoAlana was telling me we can order other models with radius since we're top tier dealer.
Yeah. We're the only tier.
Where is that tier in relation to the funk level?
We created the tier.
Oh, the funk contagious. There ain't no vax.
What? Funk with a high G?
I thought I couldn't be done.
Oh, see, he's using the C string now. So.
Mm. Secrets.
That's how you do it with that IG. You gotta use a loaded string.
Yeah, that's where your bass just moves up.
Everything just, the whole room just sings.
Sounds
It's the
good.
same key as Can't forget how to love anymore. Can't forget. Oh. Can't do that voice right now. Things will never be the same again.
What's another good funky key?
I just stick to this generic A7. Oh, sorry.
I'm gonna
Getting
stop
carried
before
away.
I get, yeah.
I think we hit funk level funk, which is level 10.
Start floating off the ground.
Everything just starts turning rainbow colors.
Michael McDonald, what are you doing here?
Hey guys.
I heard you hit level 10.
That's what happens when you hit level 10.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very weird.
And then you hit level 12, all the Justice Friends show up.
That
With the
youth looks like it
Globetrotters.
wants to like play Hawaiian music though.
Oh, but he won't let it.
Yeah.
It goes on.
You were born to be funky.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, gotta funkify that.
Or,
Just do a little funky.
or funky, like,
Oh, that would be cool if you guys did a whole funk album.
I've been waiting for this
I'm
for so
down.
long. It's like it's the perfect instrument to funk, man.
You have to play
Put some
bass
drums
on
behind it.
Hell yeah.
Get Abe to send some drum tracks.
Nah, just ukulele. You know? It'd
Yeah.
be kind of cool. Nah, that would pop though with like Abe on drums.
Do
and-
two versions.
Yeah.
Do it drum and drumless. Yes, please.
You know who's really good at that kind of groove? Eli.
Oh yeah,
Get him to
totally.
kill that. He'll kill it on the
For
drums.
sure.
He would funk that up.
Get a license to ill.
okay, sound time.
We love you. We'll see you next time.
Ahui ho.
Peace.